Alright, Shalom, Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of great millstone who rule well, preaching 200% of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh. And salutations to you sincere heart-minded that are pushing this gospel in righteousness and sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. You have to deal with me, Salakia for not putting on my garment today, but basically what happened is that one of my family members, they took the garment from the way I sprayed it outside. After washing it, I had to dry it, and they said I was going to burn it. So there's nothing I can do about that. Just now to get a new one, and this just happened recently. Thursday, Thursday. So you have to deal with me for that. So actually, but I'm going to go, but I'm working on getting a new one right now, and not ready as it is right today. So I have to go and get it another time. But anyway, as the scripture says, though you meet the bread of adversity, the bread of affliction, the bread of adversity, and the waters of affliction, your teacher will not be removed to a corner. So I still have to come out here and do this video even without the garments, just to keep pushing this word. But so I'm just going to get right into it. Let me get right I just remembered, what I was planning on getting into, when I was coming here today, you see, I just say this first of all, my spirit is a little bit down right now because you see, this the check out here, they are forgetting what is going on, they are forgetting what time it is, this is the time of the end, this is the time in which the Most High is bringing down that hell, on all the non-believers, on all the people that don't or refuse to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, of all, as it just says in the book of 2nd Ezra 15, that's the on that's let me get that. I forgot that with the word, but basically, the unbelievers will die in their unbelief. Let me get that real quick. 2nd Ezra 15. Just bear with me. Remember, because I guess I've been quoting that so much, not actually getting it. Yeah, it is 2nd Ezra 15 verse 4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Okay, so that's what it is. That's what difference is happening right now. Great judgment, great death, great destruction is coming upon the earth. And the reason why I'm facing the road instead of facing away from the road is because the sun, right now, this is what do you say? Yeah, this is the sun. This is early in the morning, so the sun is out in the east. So I have to face the road, but this isn't a busy road. It's just the this isn't a busy road. The road, so I don't really have to worry about anybody passing through too much. That's why this place is quiet. Usually I'm out, in the middle of this. Usually I'm out in the public, in a place that is, the place that gets a lot of foot traffic, the place that gets a lot of people coming through, trying to push this word. I decided to come here today. The way it's quiet, mostly because the place I have planned to do camp today. The people have already set up a shop there, so I couldn't do it. So just came out here. The most I provided another place. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Rachak, Wadash. I don't feel right doing camp without my garments, but I still have to do it anyway. I still have to bring this up because I know that before that garment will get ready, it will take a whole week. And I can't just say let me just make up by doing a camp on Wednesday because I already have plans to do a Christmas camp. But that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say is that these people are forgetting what is going on. Everybody is trying to say that the Most High will make 2021 better because he has made 2020 so terrible. But what they don't understand is that 2021 that is getting ready to get worse, is about to even get worse than 2020 was. And I was going to do a video about that, how Russia sent in, how Russia has asked the US nukes. They'll show you what kind of level, they'll show you the level that 2020 is closing out on and the level that 2021 is beginning in. Because the Most High is about to bring hell on you Israelites, man. And if you're not ready to hearken unto the words of Yahweh, you're not ready to repent, you're not ready to do the will. Okay, which one I'm going to talk about because, let me step back a little bit, okay? Because you see, you see that these Israelites, they are getting ready to celebrate Christmas. People have already started putting up the Christmas lights, have already putting up the Christmas signs, even though they know what kind of celebration this is, okay? This isn't a celebration to honor, alright, to honor Yahweh. It's not even a celebration to honor their fake Cesare Jesus Christ, because they weren't no such thing as Christmas lights during that time, okay? They weren't no Christmas trees. Nobody was setting up Christmas trees during that time. Nobody was talking about ho 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 Father Christmas, celebrate Christmas for me, give me presents and all, and wrap it all up and all that. What people are focused on was the birth, the alleged birth of Yahweh of that Jesus Christ, and that birth does not involve all these things that have been popularized right now. As if even the reason why they celebrate the Christmas, the actual reason why the Christmas celebration actually started has been completely replaced, and now what you have is this basically a pagan holiday in Babylon, and now you see why this kingdom needs to be destroyed, man. Because this is all this kingdom pushes, the joy of the flesh, basically enjoyment, narcissism, all that. Okay, nobody's pushing. The only people that are even pushing, let us do the will of the Most High. That go into the scriptures and tell you that, look, this is what Yahweh says. Let us consider this because this is the one true living power. Nobody's listening to those people, alright? Nobody's listening to the prophets. Nobody's trying to hear all that. They just want to keep on enjoying the flesh. They just want to keep on doing what they've been doing, telling you that, as the scripture says. And let me get that in the book of 2 Peter chapter 3. Right? Because it's what you see out. Because it's what you see out here. No matter where you go, no matter where you go on the planet, as long as they are jaked and hidden, this is what they all talk about. This is what Esau has taught them to be. As it just says also, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. The righteous being you Israelites. But the way of the wicked being the Edomites. Okay, we don't need to go into all those precepts to prove all these things. But basically, the righteous, the Israelites, is more excellent than his neighbors, but the other hidden and the wicked as well. But the wicked, right, the basest of men, Esau, has seduced him. I think that's how it goes. It's like I meant the ways of the wicked. Let me just get that. Let me get that quickly. If I go into what the other precepts I wanted to get, let me just quickly get that. Okay, no, that's not it. Okay, Proverbs 12, verse 26. The book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth him. Okay, that's what you see going on right now, because he has, and that's even another thing I forgot to mention. Who celebrates these pagan holidays the most? Christmas, okay, Halloween, Easter, New Year's, all these other holidays. Who celebrates it the most? It's Jake, it's Israel that celebrates these holidays the most. And these holidays, this wasn't any holiday that at the end of your people celebrated. You didn't see you didn't see what they like to say that they're Africans. No African was celebrating Father Christmas. Okay, no African was celebrating Santa Claus and Easter and New Year and all that. Okay, none of the cultures that we as the Hebrew as Israelites built during time of our captivities and all that celebrate these holidays. But it was Esau that modern day Christmas, I should say, because the original Christmas was actually done by Jake. But this modern day Christmas, was Esau actually set it up with the whole Santa Claus, with the whole, and even Easter, with the whole Easter bunny and all these other, all these other basically poster children for these holidays. It was Esau that actually did all that, and now our people, they're the ones that eat it up the most. They're the ones that go around buying all these Christmas merchandise, all these Christmas goodies. They're the ones that go around, celebrating, going ham for these Halloween holidays, with their abominable foods. And it's ironic I should say ham and say abominable food at the same time, but you see where this is going, okay? And the way you now tell these people that this is not the right way, let us do the will of the Most High, let us follow Yahweh Bashmi Yahweh, so that we will not be destroyed, see all the hell that we have to go through because we refuse to obey our power. Let us come back to him now. So that we can actually, so that at least as the scriptures promise, that we can have a little sanctuary because we are following him now in this captivity while we are waiting out the end. But this is what they will say, okay? The book of 2 Peter chapter 3, and I read from verse 4, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. And that's what you hear. That's what you hear Jake talk about. Just say that everything is just going to keep on going and keep on going. People are these Israelites out here, they don't believe in the end. They don't believe that our Lord Yahweh will come back to save them. They don't believe that anything good can come out of them. As it just says, they basically believe that can anything good come out of Nazareth. That is the state that our people is in right now. That's why when you tell them that, that's why. And I was listening to the elder Yashawamba's video before I was coming to camp. Where I was talking about how what's the song? I forgot this guy's name, Casanova, and the other Mozart. How they told them were so-called black men because they were Jake. When you think about it, when you actually go into what they did, there's no way that they can't be Israelites, because Mozart's music is still being played up to this day. Even people that don't even know what who Mozart or Beethoven them are whenever they hear those symphonies, whenever they hear those tunes, they like to act like they're up on the game of classical music, and that's the kind of influence that Jake has, And the same thing with Machiavelli, and Marcus Aurelius. They made these people look like so-called white people, but if you actually look at the pictures, look at the bust of Marcus Aurelius, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that name, Aurelius, and look at the pictures of Machiavelli, you can see that these are Israelites, okay? They have been whitewashed, especially if you now understand how iconoclasm and whitewashing works. You know that they don't notice that, okay, these are actually Jake, okay, because their skin color might be a little bit lighter, but this appearance, the flat nose, the thick lips, the woolly beard, the woolly hair, like the bust of Marcus Aurelius, for example, you can see the woolly hair, you can see the woolly beard, you can even see the flat nose, but it's a white bush, it looks like a so-called, because it's a white bush, and because it was in Rome, in Europe at that time, everybody just assumes that it's automatically white. But what they won't tell you, okay, they won't, if they make a movie, they won't go into the how they won't go into the Roman army, how they were taking basically soldiers from every nation. You had Ethiopian soldiers in the Roman army, you had soldiers from Arabia in the Roman army, but they won't show you all those things. They only show you what scores upon scores of Edomites. They make you believe that even if Rome, even if as history admits it, that Rome's army wasn't even that strong. That what they did was that they used they tried to outthink their opponents. They tried to out strategize them, because the actual army, they weren't as powerful as the other soldiers. That's why they used metal weapons that's why they used a lot of metal weapons, a lot of metal armors, in order to try to, if they can't use manpower to defeat their enemies, and then they would use technology, they would use strategy. But what they won't tell you that they were Israelites in that army, okay? They were hidden in that army. Arabians, Cushites, Hamites, all these different nations were serving in that army. And that's what made the army actually great, because this is what he always does. And you can go to the book of Maccabees and read the exact same thing. Not just he, but any of the heathen that actually go into rulership. This is what they always do. They want to try and make all their provinces to become one. In other words, one world government, which they are the king of, to serve one God, to serve one, to have one religion, to have one currency, to have one language. That's what they always love to do. But then, this is the part that always messes them up. Then you now hear a story of these people that are contrary to everybody else's ways. Okay, so all the heathen are respecting, the rulership. All the heathen are coming into that. Are basically what's what I'm looking for. All the heathen are submitting. They are being subservient. They are allowing the ruling nation to make the laws. They are following the ways of the ruling nation. But then there are these people that are, and what's what I'm looking for. And that is actually in the book of Esther. Let me just go to that. Let me define that in the book of Esther. These people that their ways are contrary. I think that's how it goes. Contrary. Let me see whether their ways are contrary. Okay, I guess it's not contrary. Or basic, and I don't know the exact precepts. I can't bring it up here, and I don't know how the word goes. But basically, in the book of Esther, when Haman wanted to, let me see if I can get that in the Bible. Let me see. So, okay, I have to get that, because that's actually an important thing to bring out in this lesson. I mean, in this camp right now. It's an important thing to bring out. Esther. Okay, I'll just read back. There it is. Look of Esther chapter 3 verse 8. And Haman, and that Haman is the Agagites. And if you go into the history, Agag was a king of the Amalekites, which are the modern day Jews today. Okay, so Haman, is a direct descendant of Agag, that king, that Samuel. And Samuel, I believe it is that same king that Samuel killed, that Saul refused to kill, but someone actually about to do it. I'm not actually sure, because you know how these kings, they like to call their sons after they like to name their they have to like name their children after them. So I'm not really sure if Agag was that actual king, or whether it was not. But basically, Haman is from that bloodline, and it goes back to Amalek, which also Alexander the Great, is that same bloodline as well. So these are the same people coming back over and over again, doing the same acts of wickedness over and over again. Okay, so this is the book of Esther chapter 3. And after from verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. Okay, so that's basically what it is. All these other nations, all the other heathens, they are subservient to his rulership. They are subservient to the nation that is in power rulership, except for, this certain group of people, the Jews, the Israelites, which would be the elect in these times. They want to. That's why the scripture says that the elect will not take the RFID microchip. The elect won't take the vaccine, because we're not subservient to because what we do, we don't do the will of Esau. Okay, Esau is not our God. Okay, what we do is the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's why we are not. That's why we are not. That's why we are contrary to this kingdom, because that it's a kingdom that is against the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It is a kingdom of wickedness. Okay, as the scripture says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So you think that if the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, that the wicked will now make the earth righteous? You think that as soon as the wicked get rulership, they will immediately change their ways and start a righteous rulership on the earth, start doing the will of the living power? If the scriptures say that the earth is given into the hands of the wickedness, and we know that the opposite of wickedness is righteousness, which is why Jacob, the righteous, is the antithesis, of Esau, Edom. That's why they are two nations, as the scripture said, that they are, even though they were born in the same womb. And let me get that. Genesis 25. Because when these things get important, you see a lot of Christians start backing down, start shaking and twisting. When we bring out scriptures like Job 9 verse 54, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The wicked are in rulership right now. Then they ask them, who is in rulership today? Suddenly you hear crickets. Nobody wants to answer that question. If the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, who is in rulership today? Wouldn't that make the people that are in rulership today the wicked? Who is at the top right now? Who has everything? Okay. The top three of almost everything else, the top three of almost every Forbes list for countries. Who is there? What kind of people are there? Okay, the top, who lives in the best places on all the nations. Okay, who lives in the best places in all these countries? That's what the question that you should be asking yourself. That's how you know who the wicked are. These are the signs that point toward who the wicked is. These are the signs that point toward who is in rulership today. You line it up with you make your observation, you treat it spirit, use those spiritual lenses which Yahweh Hashem your child has given you, make your observation, and then you go back into the scriptures and then you see, okay, these people have these qualities, that makes them this nation, and these people have these qualities, that makes them this nation, and this is what the scripture says about these nations, and because it is written in the scriptures, because I am yet to see, I know I can say the same thing for you, Akim, out there. I have yet to see a time when the scriptures had called it wrong on anything. Okay, I yet to see a time when the scriptures was wrong about something. I yet to see a time when the scriptures had said one thing and another thing happened. Because right now, and let me get that precept so if I keep on going. Because if I do that, I'll just rant and go into another thing again. I'll forget this one I'm doing right now. So just get these precepts. Alright, look at Genesis 25. And I'll start from verse 22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manners of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay, now pretty soon you're going to have people arguing that Esau wasn't actually the older brother. Okay, because they were twins, there's no older, there's no younger. They are both what do you call it? They are both identical twins and all that nonsense. You're going to have people that are making that argument as well. But the scriptures clearly tells you two different people, two different nations, okay? And they are completely separate from each other. They are completely different from each other, even down to skin color. Because here you have one group that is brown, okay, not black, not not black, okay, not red, because God and Reuben, they are not red, okay, they are darker, they are black as well, not Hispanic, not Native American, not all these bad words that you like to use for yourself, but Israelites and their skin color. Because our skin color is not a byword, okay? Our skin color is not something that we should use to identify ourselves. You know, say that we're all brown people. That doesn't make any sense, okay? Because first and foremost, you know, like what? Like say that no, 70-80% of the earth is brown. Even animals are brown, okay? The only people that and you can look this up yourself. You can actually go into the first and look this up. The only people that don't have any color, the only people that don't have any pigment on this whole earth, the only animals that don't have any pigment on this whole earth. Okay, aside from albino animals, let me just say that, aside from the animals that have albinoism, are Esau, Edom, okay, and they are basically clean lepers. That shows you right there that Esau is an albino. In other words, he's a leper. So it shows you that, so that should tell you right there that these devil's skin color, that they are red, because that's exactly what color they have, red, not white. That's not the default, okay? The default is the color that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have. You are the default, okay? You are you Israelites are as the scripture says, Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Okay, so you Israelites are the default, right? The other nations were made. Okay, so let me just see. The other nations were made from you, because guess who Adam was? Guess who his children? Guess who his children were? Okay, guess what Adam was? Guess what Adam was? Guess what Noah was? Guess what his sons were? Okay. Noah is all that seed of Jacob. The same for Shem. No, Adam is Yahawashai in the reincarnation. So that should tell you exactly all you need to know. That our people are the originators. No, that's why the scripture said that what Jacob is the former of all things. Okay. So this low self-esteem that our people are having, you know, that they can't see themselves as anything but black. They can't see themselves as anything but African. They can't see themselves as anything above living in huts. Living in huts and basically being cavemen until he came and granted them that civilization and all that. Because say what you will talk about how we got a civilization in Africa, Mansa Musa, Mali Empire, Ibadan Empire, all this one and that one. That's nothing, okay? That is nothing compared to what we had when we were in Israel, compared to what we had when King Solomon was in rulership. That's a fucking joke, okay? Because I live here, okay. I've seen the ruins of what all you jigs are drooling over. All the old temples of the Ibadan Empire, and nobody cares about that shit, okay? Nobody cares about all that all the dumb things that you built that people built up in Africa. Okay, the pyramids in Egypt. Guess what? Jake built that. Okay, so and guess what? They're going to be destroyed too. When those chariots come, those pyramids are going to be destroyed. All these things that you have right now is going to be destroyed. But what do you think is going to be left? Israel. Alright, so all these kingdoms that are built up, all these you talking about proud to be black, or you're proud to be African, talking about coming back to Africa, the motherland, and all that nonsense. That's not going to stand. Okay, that council is of men, and we know what the scripture says about the councils of men. Alright, that's why we're coming out to tell you to do the will of Yahweh Shai. First of all, come back to your heritage, because how can you do the will of basically the God of Israel, the power of Abraham, of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? How can you do the will of that power when what you are focused on is how to be black, okay, how to be African, not how to be an Israelite, not how to be, because that's exactly what this truth is. It is a heritage, okay? It is your people. You coming back to your nationality. You learning the way, the laws, the statutes, the commandments. You learning everything that it means to be an Israelite. Coming back to your culture, coming back to your true heritage, your real nationality, something that you should be proud of, okay? That's what you should be proud of right there. That's what you should be proud of right there. The fact that you're an Israelite, the fact that you are of the seed of the Lord's chosen, the the fact that you, as a black, as a Hispanic or a Native American, or anybody that gets this truth, that knows that their bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because all his signs are there. That's what you should be proud of. Okay, that's what your focus should be on. As scripture said, I'm trying to remember that precept how it goes. Basically, let me get that. The outcasts of Zion. I think that's how it goes. The outcasts of. Let me see if I can get that. Lot of precepts. Let me just get this one. Okay, I think this is what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Isaiah 11 verse 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall all the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And who are those Gentiles? Okay. But before I continue on, because I'm going to get the entire before I continue on, who are those Gentiles? That's you Israelites. That's you Israelites that are still in the Gentile state of mind. I still don't want to accept that you are Israel. I still don't want to accept that you are the Lord's chosen. That's who these Gentiles are talking about. That's who the spirit of Jesse was for. That's who Yahweh came for. Because going to the scriptures, going to the New Testament, Matthew 1 verse 21, Acts 4 verse 22. Okay, Romans chapter 9, Romans chapter 11. What does it tell you? That our Lord Yahweh came for the nation of the nation of Israel. And I believe in the book of John 7:22. Let me just make sure, Salakia. I think you also say the same thing. So that is who the Gentiles speak of. John 7:22. Yeah, that was not it. Yeah, that's not it. But that's who the Gentiles speak of. Remember I talked about how you are Gentiles, that these are the Gentiles. That's talking about our people that are in that Gentile mind state, okay? Our people that don't want that think that they are Americans, our people that think that they are Nigerians, our people that think that they are Indians, that think they are of all these nations out here, but don't realize that they are not. Okay, that their bloodline doesn't go back to that, because, and I've said this so many times already, but it tends to sound like but that's how it must be, repeating the matter. But basically, the word nation, it goes back to the Italian, I think, both the Italian and the Latin, nato, which means born. So we talk about your nation, talk about where were you born from? Where does your seed line go back to? That's exactly what we're talking about here. They're showing that there are only 14 nations. They're showing you that according to the scriptures, only 14 nations, because out of those 14 men, these different nations were born, and all of them are of the same bloodline, and out of one of those 14 men being Israel, Yasharallah, Jacob, which all the 12 tribes that are scattered all over the earth right now come from. So that is who those Gentiles are, because there's nobody that came into this truth. They don't know that I was born knowing who they were, knowing that they were an Israelite, knowing all this that they knew now. They have to be brought out from whatever matters that we were in before, and have to be brought into this truth, to serve the Most High in righteousness and truth and in sincerity, as the scriptures say. Right, and from there, Isaiah 11 verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. So he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So you see that right there. Okay, went from talking about Gentiles, talking about the outcasts of Israel, the dispersed of Judah, showing you, okay, that when you're talking about Gentiles, it was actually talking about our people, the Israelites. It was talking about who the Israelites are, that they will be considered Gentiles, they will be considered the dispersed, outcasts, as the scripture said that we were basically outcasts from, I forget how that goes, but we were outcasts from the Commonwealth of Israel. Okay, and I was actually planning on doing this lesson, but the Spirit never just I never managed to do, so I'm going to do it right now. When you talk about Gentiles, when you talk about being in a Gentile state of mind, let me get that precept first. Okay, that we are Commonwealth. Here it is. Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah, Ephesians 2 verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye, being in times past, Gentiles, okay? So I made it clear right now. The when it's this precept right here, nobody would argue anymore that this wasn't written to the Ephesians, the Israelites that were scattered in Ephesus, okay? Because that church, they were only Israelites in that church. Okay? They were only members of our people in that church. They want no heathens, okay? They want no heathens coming around talking about can we worship the same God as you, because we know we know everything. We know what the scripture said. Whenever the Gentiles came to ask to worship the Most High with us, they were cast out. They were told to beat it. They were told to vomit. They were told to leave, because they're not a part of this. Okay, they're not a part of this temple. They're not a part of our heritage, because this is your heritage. Okay, this serving the Most High, that is your heritage. That's something that you should guard. Okay, because that's your heritage. Okay, this is basically anybody that comes into this thing trying to be a Hebrew Israelite that is not a part of us. That is what they call this thing again. You know, like anybody that is a Gentile that tries to come into this Hebrew Israelite thing. That is I forget what they call this thing. You know what that culture vulture stuff. I can't remember it. You know this thing that they use for somewhere. You know when Esau start dressing like all these other nations. You know, like when Esau start dressing like Jake, or Esau start dressing like Moab or Ammon. Like they try to look like them. Basically, cultural appropriation. That's what the word I was looking for. No, anybody that comes into this thing talking about they want to serve the Most High. You know, in this time, of course, they want to be Hebrew Israelites. That's cultural appropriation right there. You know, so all you heathen are talking about that are calling yourselves Christian. All you heathen are saying that you worship the Most High and His Son, that are holding Bibles in your hand. That's cultural appropriation right there. You know, they are taking a heritage that is not your own. Because serving the Most High, that privilege was only given to Jacob, as the scripture says. He showeth his word unto Jacob. Let me get that. That's too beautiful to not get. Because at the end of it, I know I'm going to keep that. Let me get that. So okay, it's really hard to any. Okay, here it is. Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth his Psalm 147 verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So I should show you right there that only Israel, only the seed of Jacob was given that privilege to know the Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, to understand his statutes, to understand his secrets. That's why we have so much confusion as regards to what the Most High stands for, what his Son stands for today. Because you have gone, as the scripture say again, why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love, Israel? Because of that you have taught the wicked ones thy ways. And the wicked ones not just being Esau, Edom, because that's wicked number one. That's primary wicked right there. The president of wicked, the ruler, the emperor of the wicked. But we're talking about the heathen as well, and the tutors as well. So why trimmest thou your ways to seek love? Now you have taught the wicked your ways. You have taught the wicked because you taught Esau. Going back to the time of the Maccabees, okay, John Hyrcanus teaching the Antipater and his teacher Antipater and his king the ways of our people, which has now made. Of course, we understand that was all prophecy, that was all scripture, that was all prophecy meant to be fulfilled. Which has now made what Judaism. Those are Amalekites in Israel today. And of course, during the time of the Holy Roman Empire, the Israelite Caesars, starting from Constantine, Marcus Aurelius being one of them, teaching, making everybody, all the heathen that were under the rulership of Rome during that time, to be Christians, which once again even more made the lines of Christianity even more skewed. And then us, the departing from that heritage, departing from that understanding, and Esau being left with those books, okay, with the Holy Bible and all that. Esau being left with that book, and what has he done with it? He has corrupted it, made it completely wicked and abominable. Okay, made something that was so beautiful. Okay, our heritage, the hope that we had through the death of our Lord Jehovah, and look at what he has done to it. When you see these Christians out here, man, you know, it always fills my heart with rage. Especially here in Nigeria, you see these you know, here in Nigeria, you can't go left or right, you can't go 2 steps without bumping into a church. You know, even if you go to work, they still pray. They still pray in the office. Even if you go to not that way you go, not where you go. Even if you go home, you hear the sound of churches, because every street has one. Every street in my neighborhood has a church. So not that way you go, you can't escape this madness, man. And this thing fills my heart with rage when I see people talking about Jesus Christ. You know, talking about Jesus Christ, talking about God in the sense of being Esau, Edom, because I know, you know these jakes, they aren't thinking about the so-called dark skin man, they're thinking about somebody like Yahushua, they're thinking about somebody like Esau, thinking about somebody like Edom, basically blaspheming our the Most High and His Son, by making them look like Esau, by making them look like the people of His cause, as Scripture says. This is what you see our people. Let me just stop right there before I, because whenever I try to go on rant, I usually lose my train of thoughts. Let me just stop right there. But it's what you see our people so into. You know, they love this. It's like I'm trying to, yeah, they love, okay, being in that situation. They love being in this hedonistic mind state. That's another way you can identify who Israelites are right there. You know, I was actually thinking about this. It's actually a funny thought. You know, it's actually funny, but it's sad as well because it's true. A good way that I can identify who our Israelites are, the people that stray away from their own gods, as the Scripture says. I have to get that before I continue on with what I'm trying to say. Has a nation changed their gods, which are no gods? And that right there, that right there should bring, you should bring sadness into your heart when you read that. There's some precepts that when you read, it just breaks your heart. You just feel like, it just puts you to a state of depression. And there are also some precepts that you read that it just build you up, it make you feel, to make you feel good, it make you feel strong, make you feel happy, make you feel powerful. That's the balance in the Scriptures right there. Precepts that you read that just break your heart, that make you sad. Some precepts like I was going into in the last lesson that I did. The precepts in 2 Maccabees 6 and 7. That's a one that really brings you down. That really destroys. That really brings you down. That really makes you sad. When you think about how the Most High left it to handle our people so to handle our people in that way, even though it was for judgment. You still can't help but feel a little bit. You still can't help but mourn because of all those things that happened. But that was put in the Scripture. That happened to build our faith in these times. Because guess what? Those people those 6, and I even said it in the previous lesson. Okay, these 6 children and their mother, and I believe his name was Eliezer. The righteous elder that they had during that time. Okay, those 6 children and their mother. Let's not forget the women that circumcised their sons. Let's not forget the men that hid in a cave in order to keep the Sabbath. Guess what? Those people might have died. Those people might have fallen at the hand of Esau. But in this time that we're in right now, there's no scripture that says that we're going to fall on the hand of Esau again. Okay, this time that we're in right now, even if we get killed by these devils, even if we fall into prison, even if we are tortured by them, we are still the ones that are going to have the last laugh. He might win the battle. He might come down with great wrath. He might kill a lot of us. He might cause a lot of us misery and sorrow. But at the end of the day, when Yahushua comes, when he breaks those clouds, when he brings up that ensign, when he stands for our people, that's it for you devils right there. Because you're not going to, because with all the things that happen on the earth, you devils still aren't ready. You'll never be ready for Yahushua. You'll never be ready for Yahushua. Even if you are given an eternity to prepare, you'll never be ready for what's coming. You're not ready for what is coming, man. You're not ready for the chariots. You're not ready for one chariot. Because you can see there are even videos out there of chariots shooting down aircraft, attacking nuclear bases, not nuclear bases, attacking military bases. And guess what? He can't do nothing. Okay? That's why Esau will make you think that the angels are basic. That's why Esau will make you think that the angels are just physical, living, are just just giant monsters and myths, like I was going into in another lesson I did. make it that the angels are some kind of meat, just flesh and bones. You know that these are the angels actually have aircrafts that they fly around in, are capable of such great destruction. Okay, showing you, you know, so let me continue on. Let me continue the episode I was reading. Jeremiah 2 verse 11. As a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods, but my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit. And that is how you know who the Israelites are. Okay, so like, for example now, it's like I can't pronounce that thing, but the Uyghur Muslims are in China right now. Okay, those Moabites, those so-called Moabites, it's like those so-called Chinese that had left their heritage, left the traditional Chinese gods, and decided to serve Islam. You know, actually, spiritually, I believe that those are Israelites, because you know what kind of people would live, they would change, because even the scripture said that nations, they don't change their gods, which are not even gods, which are idols. They show you how messed up our people are in the head. You know, we left the Most High, that we, imagine this, okay? You see all those miracles that Yahweh Shai does in the land of Egypt. Okay, you see people that are dying around you, Psalm 91. You see hundreds falling, thousands falling, but nothing's happening to you. You see people getting boils, people getting attacked by insects, people drinking the sea of blood, people falling sick, their firstborn children dying. And you see all these things happening, and then you see they basically kick you out of Egypt because they don't want to deal with you anymore, because they know that it is your fault that it's happening, because they know that you are the reason why it is happening, because it is your power, your God that sent one single man, one man, okay, only just Moses, and Yahweh is sent, and he did all that, you know. He sent them to it, and they chased you out, and when they chased you out, they gave you gold, say take, go, leave, get out, don't ever come back. Okay, and if that wasn't enough, crossing the Red Sea, what I did was to split that part for you. You went through easy, plain and simple, you walked through, simple and short. If that wasn't enough for you, when you were hungry, manna came down from heaven, if that wasn't enough for you, when you were thirsty, split the rock open, water comes out, if that wasn't enough for you, because you didn't need a change of clothes. The sandals that you wore did not, sandals that you wore, it did not, it did not spoil, it did not get worn out. The clothes that you wore on your back did not get worn out as well. And that's spiritual power right there. Because guess what? That happened to us in the kingdom as well. The clothes that we're going to wear will never get dirty. The sandals that we wear will never get dirty. Okay, we never have a situation where we have to take. We never have a situation where you have to go and take a shower. Talking about I'm a little bit filthy, I'm a little bit sweaty right now. That's not going to happen in the kingdom. Okay, that's spiritual power right there. So you see all these signs, and he does so much more. When you are in the land of Israel, you see yourself, you are chasing over 100 soldiers. Only you alone as an Israelite warrior out there in the field. You kill over 1,000 men. People are running away from you. You're basically wondering, are these hidden this week? You see all these things happening to you, and you still say, you know what? Baal, that I just that you nearly wiped out all his followers. Okay, that's the Baal and Molech. Our people nearly wiped out all their followers. Okay. The Canaanites were almost completely wiped out. The Moabites, the ones that decided to stand up against us, they were killed as well. And our people just think that, okay, these gods that we nearly wiped out when we were following Yahweh, let's follow him as well. And it's not like the Most High's laws are too grievous for us. Because you know what you have to do when you're serving Molech. Give your firstborn child, put him in that fire and let him burn. Okay, it's not a matter, that's what the scriptures talk about when it says, pass your children to the fire for Molech. Okay, you have to cut yourself. You have to worship Baal. So you have to cut yourself. Make print marks on your flesh for the dead. Basically, cut yourself whenever a family member dies. So compared to that, compared to inflicting self-harm on yourself, compared to sacrificing your children, the firstborns that opens the womb, the firstborn son, as the scripture says, that's your power right there. That's your generation continuing right there. But you go and sacrifice it. There's no law like that in the scriptures. None of the laws are written in the scriptures are even that hard to keep. There's no crazy law that you think that, this law. There's no law I've seen in the scriptures that I say that, okay, this is just too much. All these laws are simple. They make sense. When you read them, you're just like, okay, no problem. I can keep this. Okay, whether it's what? Not eating pig meat. I haven't even tasted pig meat. But I've heard when I was still in the world, I heard from people that tasted it that they said that pig meat was actually sweet. But I never actually tasted it through this. through the spirit, but I'm actually eating shellfish, a lot of it, because us here, the Igbos, that's what we use for all our foods. Crayfish, mostly crayfish for all our foods. They put it in everything. So you can tell how hard it is for me to find a decent meal in this country. But all that's coming to an end in the kingdom. Just for me to enjoy a little bit longer, but that's not the point I'm trying to get to. Whether it's keeping your hair, leaving your hair to grow. What is harder? Leaving your hair to grow, and cutting it from time to time, or completely shaving your head constantly. About what? I would say 1 or 3 months. So you can leave your hair to grow for what? If you can cut your hair like every 6 months, and you can leave your beard to grow for as long as you want. No problem. Just clean it up a little bit, and it'll be fine. What is so hard to keep there? Putting on is it putting on the garments with the fringes? What is hard to keep in the law? There was no reason for our people to actually leave the Most High and go for these other gods. That's how but not even for what? The fulfillment of prophecy. But our people still went off like that, and we still have so many people going off today. But it's all just through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It's because I have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in me, and I say that with faith, okay, not with any arrogance or pride of heart. I say that with faith because that's why I can see the joy in keeping the laws. Because just what keeping the law brings me joy, okay. I derive joy from and that's the thing. I know you actually know what I'm talking about right now. When you keep law, you're feeling good about yourself. When temptation comes, that you overcome it, and the joy that you feel from overcoming temptation, that shows you, what the most I did by putting us in that temptation in the first place. The joy that you feel from overcoming temptation, the joy that you feel from keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, the joy that you feel from doing the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Like for example, right now, whenever Saturday comes in, the first thing I'm thinking of is where's camp? Where camp at? Where camp? Just want to go to this camp, and then when I do it, thinking of next video, every single time, next video. I haven't felt this sense of accomplishment that I feel in this truth in anything else that I've done in my life, okay? This truth is right now, it's not giving me any sense of accomplishment. I haven't felt this accomplished in my life. But I haven't felt like I've been doing something important until I started doing this truth. When I started bringing out videos, doing sit downs, seeing people, bringing out word, seeing people learning, people telling me, I know what I'm talking about, people understanding the breakdowns. I have some knowledge of the Most High, of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's what gives me joy right there. That's what gives me. That's what brings joy. And in the kingdom, we'll have that joy with us always. That spiritual high that you feel. When you have done the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, in the kingdom, you have it always with you. That's going to be the feeling that you have 24/7 in the kingdom. Alright, that's why we want this kingdom to come closer and closer. That's why we want this kingdom to happen as swiftly as possible. Okay, so what I was even going into, I forgot about that. I was talking about how they can identify our people by just looking at people that have left their basically the gods of the nations that they are normally serve, and go and serve other gods. Like for example, you have a lot of Elamites here in Nigeria. I talk about how only more of the Chinese are trying to take over Africa. I'm seeing them more and more lately, but that's beside the point. This kingdom is already over. Nothing they can do again. But basically, what I'm talking about right now is Elam. You see a lot of Elamites here in Nigeria, especially Elamites that are in the church, man. You have a lot of these Elamites that are in the church. Now I'm looking at them. Are you sure these Elamites aren't Jake? Because what do these Elamites worship? They worship Hinduism. And also they actually go and worship Islam. So you have that separation, and you have a lot of and you see constant quarrels between them. The Hindus of Elam and the Islams of and the ones that are in this Islam of Elam. They always having little skirmishes and little conflicts in India. We now have a lot of Indians that come here and they start going to church basically. When I was still in the world, there were a lot of Islams that used to go to one of these Anglican churches there were these Anglican churches that I used to go to before, and there were a lot of Elamites going to those churches. Basically, when you see all these kind of things, these are identifiers for our people. Who are the people that are willing to leave a god and to serve another god? They are jumping from philosophy to philosophy, religion to religion, doctrine to doctrine. Most likely that's an Israelite right there, because it just says they have I think that's itching ears. And that's how you know their opinions were Jake, because they were doing the exact same thing. Whenever they were doing the exact same thing, because whenever somebody came along, with a new doctrine to tell them, with a new, with a new something, that has something to say, basically. Anybody that has something to say, those Elamites, they would be all ears. They were listening for what? Whoever had, as the scripture said, they wanted to hear or see, they wanted to hear or be taught something new. Okay, they were willing to accept any god. They even built a temple for Yahweh, which is a good thing. But that just shows you, the mindset that they were in. If it was another god that they had that wasn't Yahweh, they would have built a temple for him as well. So you most definitely had multiple temples for multiple gods in Athens. Not just the gods that they normally worship in Athens, which are those Greek gods. And so let me get what I was trying to get. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 2. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. And that's all that we do here. That's our job. So can we just check whether this thing is still playing? Okay. That is all we do here. That is our job. To preach the word, to be instant in season, out of season, to keep on pushing with all righteousness, with all doctrine. Whenever somebody goes off, we get on them and we rebuke them. Kind of like what ISUPK is doing right now. They are running around this magazine. They're trying not to touch this subject, but it's coming up, man. It's coming up because soon. ISUPK is going to have to pay for saying that they should take the magazine when they shouldn't. Okay,